Does your reselling business give you anxiety? Mine does, even now, even to this day, still gives me anxiety. I have completed anxiety as far as e-commerce businesses go, I think. And I've come to realize a few things. The most important lesson I learned is that if I implement strategies and processes, it removes that situation. So for context, my name's AD, I'm a reseller. I've been reselling for the past decade. During the course of that time, I've done hundreds of thousands in sales. I've made more mistakes than I care to mention. And during the course of that time, I've actually learned a few things. And so in this video, I'm going to share 3 tips with you about how you can implement processes to remove that anxiety and make reselling a much more pleasurable experience. So, okay then, number 1, let's get into it, your processes. There's so much to worry about in that respect. Am I going to get this item out to the buyer in time? Am I going to be able to make my listing goal that I want for today? Am I going to achieve the sales figure that I expected for myself at the end of the month? Can you see how these things start to escalate for you so quickly? Having processes and being aware of when you are feeling anxious, and then unpacking that and like going, right, what can I do to deal with this situation to prevent me from having these sort of feelings in the future is so important. It took me too long to realize that I needed to do something to get rid of those feelings. Now, I'm definitely better. I don't think it ever goes away. And I think anyone who owns and operates a business would say the same thing. There are areas of stress that are like pinch points that you just have as a business owner. And there is stuff that you can do about it, rather, I should say, and that is implement systems. There will always be a certain level of underlying stress and anxiety, but you can remove it. And in my experience, you can certainly sort of depress that to the point where you are able to operate effectively. Okay, so number 2, then, working hard to get ahead was one of the best things I ever did. Let me explain what I mean by that. If I have got listings in the bank ready to go for the week, if I've got money set aside to cover my overheads and expenses, if I'm prepared for the week ahead, I am significantly less anxious and much more capable of dealing with something unexpected. You know, one of the kids gets sick and you can't do your normal processes, your listing during the course of that night, for instance. With that, implementing that strategy for me was one of the best things I ever did, because it allowed me to be able to quickly dip in, do my listings, and I can still manage shipping and everything else around my lifestyle. What is absolutely key is to work hard to get to that point and always try and get, a few days ahead. The sweet spot for me was like 4 days. I found that if I was working 4 days ahead of time, I could generally get back to the computer and back to, doing listings and photography within 4 days. So I'd never run out. I prefer 7, but 4 is generally a minimum. If it's less than that, it starts getting a little bit clunky. And then number 3 is recognizing when you need to take a break. Things can start to come on top. If you are doing this part-time, as a lot of people are when they first start, you've got a lot of different life demands that are applying pressure on you, and recognizing when you need to take a day off, a weekend off, for instance, and just getting away from the computer, getting off your phone is really important, and will help to sort of redress the balance, give you a better appreciation of what's important and what's not. I find that the more time I spend away from the computer, the more I'm able to think clearly about what is happening and what needs to be done. So look, I hope you found those tips useful. If you like this sort of stuff, I post reselling content daily, so make sure you drop us a follow. If you've got any questions, just put them in the comments below. I read and answer them all. And finally, I offer a mentoring and coaching service through Stan Store. You can see it in the link in the bio at the top. So copy that into a web browser. If you are interested in working with me, then just go on there, fill out an interest form, and I'll be in touch.